Okay guys, this is going to be our night build video. First off, I want to let you guys know that it's been a long time since I've played this tune, so I may be a little off in some of my stuff, so if there's anything that you guys as knights see that needs to be corrected or anything like that, definitely leave some notes in the comments. I'm going to start off with the skill trees here. In this case, I do have a double skill tree on this tune. This is, like I said, a very old tune for me. So I'm going to start on this one here. This was my damage tree. So you can see I've maxed out the two basic skills. These are your rage builders. I have my Delphic at 3 of 3. All my passives, all of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, this is a damage tree. It was mainly used for world boss and arenas. So we got whirlwind maxed, and I was working to get the enhanced Delphic maxed. And I also had the shield for arena. One of the great things we used to do with arena was on this tune, I used to run with two other knights. With the two other knights, we actually had a rotation down between the three of us. We were considered the Iron Wall, shall I say. And we used to open up with the same rotation amongst the three of us. I believe we used to open with Whirlwind, Ultimate Slasher, and then our shields if we had to continue on that way. Something to note as a knight, your Ultimate Slasher used in the arena for one of your first turns, this skill will actually hit the back row first. So keep that in mind. It's very good for picking off those mages towards the rear and also running right through the troops to hit a player when you're fighting with troops. On our other tree here, this was the PvE tree. Looking at this, I'd like to talk a little bit more about a knight's purpose throughout the game. Knights are designed to be tanks. Knights are not designed to be damage dealers. If you're building a crit knight, you're actually looking at the knight class all wrong, unfortunately. I hate to say it. But they are designed to be knights, and you're there to absorb the damage for parties. With the proper design of a knight, knights should actually be standing in front of their troops to keep their troops as long as possible to be able to do as much damage for them as possible. So looking at this build, you can actually see that it's designed for what's considered mitigation. In other words, being able to divert as much damage as possible. So you can see here, added to this, we've actually got the damage decrease passive. And also the Apollo Shield. And the Apollo Shield is a great little skill once you get it and learn how to use it. Timing is essential to this as well when landing it on a party, but it's going to make a huge difference for your healers. So it's essentially the same. You can see in this tree, though, that I have completely dropped my Delphics in place of the mitigation. So this passive and this one. The key to using something like this actually was the Shadow Thresher and keeping the bleed going as long as possible. So just be aware of that. I'm not going to go too deep into rotations with this build. In the academy, as usual, we should all focus on your physical attack and these three here. So your defenses, your HP. Something to keep in mind again: don't neglect your troops as a knight. I neglected mine for a while in this one, but I did get them up there and built back up. Again, there's the advanced page. Now, it's been a long time, so this wasn't introduced when I was playing this tune, but if I was to come back and play this tune, the first thing I would do is start working on these advanced skills, because per point, they're going to be cheaper than these ones here, at least up until level 20, and then they're going to balance back out, basically, depending on how high you are on the first page. Looking at Astrals. Astrals, again, this is something that I never did get, was the determination, but it is good to keep a sniper's edge and a determination around for world boss situations. Knights can be very functional at World Boss, using that extra crit, but outside of World Boss, the crit just doesn't make sense. And I will, after we're done posting all three of these videos, I'm going to make an extra video just discussing crit and its use and why it doesn't make sense to use it before a certain point. But aside from that, again, it's the same as all classes. You want your three main astrals, so your physical attack, your magic defense, and your physical defense as well. On top of that, Knights, as a tank, should be using block, so you will want your pristine enshieldment, or whatever enshieldment you can start working with and build it up from there, and also HP. In terms of building a tank knight, your defenses, your HP, and your block are going to be your four most important stats across the board. Physical attack is really not all that important. Although you want to keep up with it, it's not the most important skill to you. And then on top of that, Goddess Blessing is an excellent skill for knights that are doing it right and tanking. Moving on from that, I wanted to address in this video a little bit about gems. One of the things to keep in mind with your knight, not everybody's going to be able to do 3 sockets. I was able to. You will eventually be able to get to 4 sockets as well. Let's just look at from a 3 socket stance right now. Physical attack and HP on all your pieces. Every single one, you can see I have physical attack and HP. And I know I'm going through them pretty quick. But then you'll notice down this side, you'll notice the green gem for physical defense. I have 4 of them. On the other side, I have 4 for magic defense. Oh, I apologize. I actually have 1 extra for physical defense. Must have made a mistake somewhere in there, but otherwise I was planning to have 4 and 4, having 3 sockets. Now that said, when you get into legendary equipment and you can have the 4th socket, it makes sense to have 1 physical attack, 1 physical defense, 1 magic defense, and 1 HP in each one of your slots. Probably towards level 80 you can play around with a bit of block and stuff like that as numbers start to increase naturally as well. So essentially that is the knight's build. Again, I haven't played in a long time as a knight, so I don't necessarily know everything currently about knights. It should give you a general basis as to what to look at as a knight and which way to head. And I have to say, one of the most important things is stay away from those crit knights. Go tank. Go tank. You'll be more useful in general in parties. You will be easier for mages to heal. And you can still do functional damage at World Boss. Knights, again, are not designed to be a World Boss smasher. The World Boss, keep in mind, guys, is the Archer's playground. That's where the Archers are going to excel the most. Knights are going to excel the most just in terms of damage mitigation in general when it comes to things like dungeons, Spire, and even in guild battle. Knights in guild battle can do some amazing things, and we'll get into that a little bit later in terms of what they can do and how they can do it. But my understanding as of late has been that knights are actually the second class that's able to indefinitely attack against the ward tower without falling out. Now that comes at a much higher level than what we're currently at, so we will work to it and we will look into that then. Hope this helps, and if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and post. Thanks, guys.